your most proudest site that you've built and sold? And yeah, and why?
I mean, yeah, I mean, the one that comes to mind obviously is Pest Strategies, which was my first big one, big one. I mean, proud of them all. They're all my babies,
Your
right?
first big exit, you mean?
What's that?
Your first big exit?
Yeah. So I sold that site for the deal was for over 1 million, and I sold that back in 20. I think it was 2019 now, which seems like
Congrats.
forever ago. But yeah, it was a great sale, and I'm glad I did it because, like, a lot of people ask me, "Why'd you sell? Why don't you just stay on it?" And like, I've thought about that, but at the end of the day, like, it all comes down to like just reallocation of risk. Like when you have one stock in your portfolio that's like 95% of the value of your portfolio, you're probably like, all right, I should reallocate that.
Yeah.
What's that?
95% of your cash flow as well.
Exactly, right. You're like, all right, there's a lot of risk tied into that. Like, I should redistribute that from one site to like 5, and then like that way you have 5 different properties making money versus one. But yeah, I mean, that was definitely my proudest moment because like I did it all perfectly right. Like I buy the book link building, buy the book content. The site was decently branded. Like I branded it myself. I did all the design, web design myself, and it's like it was good enough. It wasn't like anything I had put it in a museum or anything, but it was perfectly fine for its purpose. And yeah, I mean, it just did really well. The opportunity was there. The competition was relatively weak at the time. I mean, so that really worked out. And yeah, I was able to find a buyer, sell it, and then buy some real estate with it, and then also redistribute it into some new sites.
Yeah, awesome. What was the niche?
Pest control.
Oh, pest. It was a pest control one. Yeah, got ya. And so did you do just that? Did you exit and then redistribute some of that into other assets? And were they online assets? Were they offline assets? Like what did that kind of look like? If you're open to sharing.
Yeah. I sold it and basically put a good chunk of it into the stock market, index funds, chunk of it into real estate, and then a chunk of it went to new sites. So,
yeah, cool. Buying new sites or starting?
Some from scratch, some I bought. Yeah, there was one site I bought from, it was a fitness site, and then I also bought a small parenting blog and I merged it into another blog as a test. So I was doing a lot of crazy stuff, just testing things and different ideas that I had that I wanted to get some reps on. But yeah, that was sort of a way to do it.
Yeah, cool. Congrats. And what did you learn through the exit, through the selling of that, the process of selling that business, that could be valuable for people listening that are wanting to sell a blog or even buy one, I guess?
Yeah, the biggest thing I would say I learned is you definitely want to show a track record of continuous earnings up and to the right, ideally growth, and like continuous growth, not like giant, downward spikes that never makes anybody excited, generally. And having a decent team that you could transfer. If you're buying a site, you definitely want to buy from someone who has a writer that's like been there, knows the process, knows like, and you can just feed them new topics and they understand what to do with that. If you're selling, you want to sort of get that ready so that when you're going to a buyer, they can just buy the system, right? They're not having to put it together. They don't need to like think about all that. Cause like 9 times out of 10, not always, but like you might be selling to an unsophisticated buyer, right? That doesn't know how to put that all together. Or maybe they don't even want to. Maybe they are sophisticated and they don't want to deal with any of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Which could be a situation. So you definitely want to prep all that sort of operating system. And then as a buyer, definitely make sure it's there. Links are obviously, how'd you build links? Like that's number one question you should be asking if you're looking to buy a site. And if you're looking to sell, you need to make sure that you have a great answer to that question, right? And go through exactly how you built them. Maybe even like go through your link profile and be like, this is how I built this one. This is how I built this one. Like, because what's going to happen is you're going to get a better multiple. As a seller, you get a better multiple for that. As a buyer, you'll feel a lot better, obviously, with your purchase.
It's so attractive for a buyer to be taught by the seller what has worked so they can replicate it again. And you're right, you can get a higher multiple. Like, I don't know if you've noticed this, but a lot of brokers are doing their best to increase prices so they can increase their income, and they can do that by increasing multiple and adding ad backs in and different types of strategies that sophisticated buyers are like, hang on, this ad back is really an expense and I'm not going to value that into my, my offer. Whereas a broker could make it really a win-win situation for everyone, rather than just try and do some tactic to sell a product higher when a sophisticated buyer is just going to argue back on it.